How's it going, guys? Welcome back to my set review for Dragon's Maze. Here we are in the black. If you're joining us in the middle of this, you can click either of the annotations up top to either go to the next one, which is going to be red, or the one before that, which is blue. So I highly recommend starting at the beginning of white, so just click the annotations above to check those out. So we're starting off with Bane Alley Blackguard. It's not terrible, it's not that great, but it's not terrible for limited say. It's a nice vanilla creature. So 1-3 for 2, not terrible. I gave it about a 1 to 1.5. It's not terrible. You could play this guy and be okay with it. Next is Blood Scrivener. I really like this guy. He can have a lot of really cool interactions with the game. He makes the game interesting. To ways that you can like discard things in your hand before you draw just to take advantage of it, or use a card in your hand to draw something, and then you won't have any cards in hand, so you get to draw an extra 2 cards, so or an extra card. So I really like that thought to be able to do interesting things with him. I think in Legacy he probably has a cool little spot somewhere. I'm not sure where. Commander, I think he'll be good with certain decks and everything. So I give him about a 3.5, and he's very low cost, so I like that guy. Next is Crypt Incursion. It's good Reanimator hate. I can see if it costs only 2, if it costs like 1 and a black, and I see that it could be really good for Reanimator hate, but I think that we have so much other hate that still is played in standard for Reanimator that it doesn't really have that much of a use, because it's kind of just a one-time shot. I don't think it's terrible. I don't think it's, the end-all be-all for Reanimator, so I gave it a 2.5. It's almost a 3 if it costs 2. If it costs 2, it'd definitely be a 3 to a 3.5, just because it was cheap, and it'd be ridiculous to have 4 copies of, and it wouldn't be that bad. So it's not that bad. Next is Fatal Fumes. It costs 3 and a black. Target creature gets -4, -2 till the end of turn, instant. It's not bad for limited. If you really need a removal spell, it's not terrible. It'll give you that little bit of removal if you need it, maybe. A lot of things do not die to -2 toughness, but if you're running into a lot of things that your opponent's playing with 2 toughness, it's a good sideboard card, so I gave it like a 1.5. Hired Torturer he's cool. I don't know, he's 3 for a 3/2, he's a defender. I think in limited that his ability could be relevant just by using it at the end of each of your opponent's turns. It's basically 2 life, and you get to see a random card from their hand. So it's relevant. He can get there if you use him enough. But it is a lot of mana to use on him, and you have to keep doing it a lot. But it's not terrible. Like he can definitely do some work. I gave him about a 1.5, probably almost a 2 for limited. Maze Abomination just gives all your dudes a death touch. I really don't like those guys, like I've said. Gave it a 1, a very low 1. Pontiff of Blight. I like this guy for the black-white tokens decks. He does cost 6, but he is a 2/7, so he's a fat butt to lay on, and it gives your tokens that much more that they can do. It gives them just a little bit more, and I like that. Giving all your creatures Extort is pretty powerful. It gives you an abundance of things to do with the extra mana that you have, so he's pretty good. I don't think you'll be seen in very many decks because he does cost so much, and you do have to have a lot of mana to use his abilities, so I don't think he's really going to be seen all that much. I'm giving it about a 2.5. Rakdos Drake. I really like this guy for limited, for the fact that he is 3 for essentially a 2/3. I like him. I wish he was like a 3/2 for a 3 when you unleashed him. That would have been way better in my opinion, but he's still pretty good. I give him about a 3 if you need a good flyer for limited. And then we have Sinister Possession. It's a really good deterrent for limited. It's not the best deterrent because they can just attack and lose 2 life and they'll be fine, or they can just block and lose 2 life and they'll be fine. It does get better later game when they have lower life totals, so it's not terrible. I give it about a 2. Ubulsar Gatekeeper. I can't say that name. He's a 2/4 for 4. He's the second best gatekeeper, I think. In limited, he's pretty good if you're playing gates and you're in black. I recommend probably playing this guy if you're playing gates. It can take out a dude when it comes into play, so that's pretty good. Alright, well that's it for the black set review for Dragon's Maze. If you want to check out the rest of it, you can click the little annotation in the upper right hand corner to see the red, or you can go back and check out the blue if you click the annotation in the left hand corner.